Mrs. Northcott was only 4 years old when the war started. She lived in a 4-room cottage with no electricity. Life was hard without the things we take for granted today, like TVs, microwaves, washing machines and central heating and cookers. They didn't have fridges, so food was kept cold in the pantry and cooked in the oven. Mrs. Northcott's mother did the washing in a tin washing machine with a mangle, but she had to heat the water on the fire first. They used the potty at night, and Mrs. Northcott says they used to call this a Guzunder because it goes under the bed. There were no supermarkets, but lots of different shops. But because of rationing, food was in short supply, so her family grew vegetables in the garden and kept 25 chickens. These were bought 1 day old and killed on Christmas. Sometimes they would get a rabbit from the butcher's. First of all, the butcher would take one off the hook and chop off its head and take off its skin. Then they would take it home and cook it in the oven on a baking tray. It looked like a cat. Mrs. Northcott says entertainment wasn't like it is today. There was the wireless, reading, and going to chapel. They played in the street. Street games were hopscotch, rope games, skipping, swinging on a lamppost, and tying door knockers together.
All the children had to take their gas masks to school with them. The infants had Mickey Mouse masks and hid in the shelter when the air raid siren went off. The teachers were strict, and Mrs. Northcott said there was one teacher who made them drink boiled milk and smacked them if they were late. When she did her schoolwork, she would have to write with a wooden nib pen dipped in ink. Many years before the war, the Welsh language was not allowed in schools, and if anyone did speak Welsh, pupils would have a Welsh knot put around their necks as a punishment. So Miss Northcott never spoke Welsh in school. Once, the German planes attacked Swansea in a 3-night blitz. Sirens went off and houses blacked out. Incendiary bombs fell, and one fell on the school. Luckily it fell at night, so no one was killed. When peace was declared in 1945, life finally went back to normal.